and welcome back to Prime Wealth. We're so glad you're joining us today.
Absolutely. It's great to be here.
So, have you ever thought about how outdoor advertising could actually provide you with some passive income?
It's a fascinating topic. Billboard advertising is often overlooked, but it has some serious potential for generating income without needing to be super hands-on.
Right. We're going to dive into how it works, the upfront costs, and what you need to consider if you're thinking about this as an investment.
Plus, we'll discuss the risks involved and how to make sure you're making informed decisions.
And we'll share some real-life examples of people who've successfully ventured into billboard advertising, which I think is really inspiring.
Exactly. It's always helpful to see how others have navigated similar paths, right?
For sure. So whether you're looking for a new income stream or just curious about passive income options, stick around.
Let's get into it.
And explore the world of billboard advertising. Alex, as we look at the current economic landscape, it's clear that many of us over 40 are feeling the pinch, especially with inflation and the rising cost of living.
Absolutely, Jordan. Inflation can feel overwhelming, can't it? It's not just numbers on a page. It impacts our everyday lives. People are looking for ways to secure their financial futures, and that urgency is real.
Right. And with retirement timelines shifting for many, it's becoming more essential to explore avenues for passive income. Billboard advertising might sound a bit unconventional to some, but it can be a powerful way to generate revenue.
Exactly. When you think about it, billboards are all around us, and they can be a steady source of income if you own the right property. Imagine you have a piece of land in a high-traffic area. Rather than letting it sit idle, you can lease that space for advertising.
That's a smart way to utilize your assets. For someone approaching retirement, having that additional income can make a significant difference. It can help cover living expenses, healthcare costs, or even fund some of those dreams you've put off.
For sure. And let's not forget, people are living longer. The average retiree today might need 20 to 30 years worth of income, so it's crucial to think outside the box when it comes to income streams.
And what's fascinating is that billboard advertising has a relatively low barrier to entry compared to other investment opportunities. You don't need to be a marketing expert or have a large amount of capital up front.
Right. There are even companies out there that specialize in helping you set up these advertising spaces. They'll handle everything from the legalities to the logistics, so you can focus on the income coming in.
That's a relief. And there's something quite appealing about passive income, isn't there? The idea that you can earn money while you sleep. It's like your money is working for you instead of the other way around.
Exactly. And for many, especially those over 40, that shift in mindset can be liberating. It's about creating a sense of financial security, knowing you have multiple streams of income coming in, which can be a buffer against life's uncertainties.
And speaking of uncertainties, let's talk about the emotional side of this. Many people in their 40s and 50s start to worry about their financial future, especially as they think about retirement. That anxiety can be pretty paralyzing.
It really can. Fear of not having enough can lead to inaction. But by exploring passive income options like billboard advertising, it's like taking control of your financial narrative. You're actively working to secure your future rather than just hoping for the best.
That's a powerful perspective. And you mentioned earlier the statistics about living longer. A recent report highlighted that 40% of Americans over 50 don't have enough savings to retire comfortably. That's a huge number.
It is. And it underscores why diversifying income sources is so critical. In the past, people might have relied solely on their pensions or Social Security, but those aren't as reliable as they once were.
So billboard advertising could be a potential game changer for those who take the leap. And it's not just about having a billboard. It's about the strategic location and understanding the market dynamics around it.
Absolutely. For instance, let's say you own a piece of land near a busy highway. The traffic count in that area could be substantial, which means more visibility for advertisers. The more eyes on the billboard, the more value it has, right?
Right. And I can imagine someone who has lived in the same area for years might even have insights into what types of ads resonate with their community. That local knowledge can be a huge advantage.
Sure. And it also builds a connection with your audience. You're not just putting up a billboard, you're engaging with local businesses and helping them reach potential customers. It's a win-win situation.
Plus, as you build relationships with advertisers, you may find opportunities for long-term contracts, which can provide even more stability and predictability in your income stream.
That's a great point. And let's not overlook the technological advancements in this space. Digital billboards are becoming increasingly popular. They can display multiple ads and even change them throughout the day, increasing the potential revenue.
Wow, that's really interesting. So are you suggesting that even someone who's not a traditional investor could get involved in this?
Definitely. If you have a piece of land or know someone who does, that's a fantastic start. You can explore partnerships or even consider investing in a company that specializes in billboard advertising. There are options out there.
And from what you're saying, it seems like this is a timely strategy, especially for those of us who might feel the pressure of retirement looming closer.
Exactly, Jordan. It's about taking proactive steps now, rather than waiting until it's too late. The earlier you start exploring these options, the better prepared you'll be to navigate your retirement years comfortably.
So there are tangible steps people can take to enter this world of outdoor advertising and make it work for them.
Yes, and that's what's so exciting. With the right mindset, strategy, and a bit of research, you can create a solid passive income stream that aligns with your lifestyle and financial goals.
So now that we've established why billboard advertising matters right now, let's dive into some core strategies to get started on this journey. So let's dive into the core strategies here. When it comes to billboard advertising, what do you think is the first step someone should take?
Well, the first thing is definitely research. You want to understand your target audience. Who are you trying to reach with your billboard? Is it commuters, tourists, or perhaps a local demographic?
Right, so knowing your audience helps you choose the right location. What about the actual billboard itself?
Exactly, and the design is crucial. You want something that's visually striking, but also simple enough to convey your message quickly. You typically only have a few seconds to grab someone's attention.
That makes sense. I imagine the simpler the message, the better, right?
Absolutely. Think of it this way. If someone is driving by at 60 miles an hour, they should be able to read your message within a few seconds. So big fonts, bright colors, and clear imagery are key.
And what about the call to action? How important is that?
Very important. A clear call to action can make a huge difference. Whether it's a website, a phone number, or even a social media handle, you need to guide the viewer on what to do next.
So if someone's interested, they know exactly where to go for more information.
Right. And that leads us to location. Where you place your billboard can greatly affect its effectiveness.
Yeah, I can imagine. What are some good locations to consider?
Well, high-traffic areas like highways and busy intersections are always a solid choice. Think about where your audience is likely to be. If you're targeting families, maybe near schools or parks would work better.
That's really helpful. And, of course, you have to consider the cost of these locations too, right?
Yes, definitely. Billboard costs can vary widely based on location, size, and demand. It's essential to weigh the potential return on investment.
So how do you figure out whether a specific billboard is worth the investment?
One strategy is to calculate the cost per 1,000 impressions, or CPM. You take the total cost of the billboard and divide it by the estimated number of people who will see it. Then multiply that by 1,000.
Interesting. So if a billboard costs $1.500 for a month and gets about 100,000 views, that would be...
You divide $1.500 by 100,000, which gives you 0.015. Then multiply that by 1,000, giving you a CPM of $15.
So that's the cost to reach 1,000 viewers. How do you know if that's a good deal?
Well, you'd compare that CPM to other advertising methods. For example, online ads might have a different CPM. If your billboard CPM is lower than those, it could be a more cost-effective option.
Got it. And what about the duration of the ad? Does that play a role?
Definitely. Longer campaigns can often lead to better brand recognition. If you're only running a billboard for a week, people might not remember it as well.
So a month or longer might be a better strategy for building awareness?
Right. And another thing to keep in mind is seasonal trends. If your product or service is more relevant during a specific season, like holidays or summer, plan your billboard campaign around those times.
That's a great point. Timing can really impact how your audience responds.
Exactly. And don't forget about tracking your results. You want to know if your billboard is driving traffic or sales?
How do you typically track that?
There are a few ways. You can use unique URLs or promo codes that people can use when they engage with your business. This way, you can directly link any uptick in sales to your billboard campaign.
That's smart. It gives you a clear picture of what's working.
Right. And speaking of tracking, another method is to use tools like Google Analytics to see where your web traffic is coming from if you use a specific landing page.
That's really valuable information. Now let's talk about budgeting. What should someone keep in mind when setting a budget for billboard advertising?
Setting a budget is essential. Start by determining how much you're willing to spend overall, then break it down into costs for design, placement, and tracking.
And it's important to remember that it's not just the billboard cost, right?
Exactly. You might need to hire a designer for the artwork. And there could be installation costs as well. Factor those in to avoid any surprises later.
Great advice. Are there any tools or resources you'd recommend for someone new to billboard advertising?
Yeah, there are a few platforms out there that can help you find available billboard spaces, like Blip Billboards or Billboard Connection. They can give you insights into location availability and pricing.
That sounds super helpful. And what about getting creative with your billboard?
Creativity can really set you apart. Think about interactive elements or engaging visuals, something that makes people stop and take a second look.
So it's about standing out in a sea of ads, huh?
Exactly. But keep in mind, while creativity is great, it still needs to align with your brand message.
It's a balance, for sure. Now, are there any common pitfalls people should watch out for when diving into billboard advertising?
There are definitely some. One big one is not doing enough research on the location. If you choose a spot that doesn't reach your target audience, it's not going to be effective.
Right, so understanding your audience and where they spend their time is crucial.
Exactly. Another pitfall is underestimating the importance of design. A poorly designed billboard can turn people away rather than attract them.
So investing in good design is definitely worth it.
Absolutely. And remember to keep an eye on your campaign once it's live. If something isn't working, be prepared to pivot quickly.
Got it. Staying flexible is key.
Exactly. So those are some strategies to get started with billboard advertising. It can be a powerful tool for passive income if approached thoughtfully.
And now, let's delve into those common pitfalls in detail. You know, Alex, when it comes to billboard advertising, I think a lot of people jump in without really understanding the landscape.
Absolutely, Jordan. One common pitfall I see is underestimating the importance of location. Just because you find a space that's available doesn't mean it's a good fit for your target audience.
Right. It's like putting up a billboard in the middle of nowhere. You're not going to reach anyone. I remember reading about a small business that rented a billboard on a remote highway. They thought they'd attract travelers, but
the traffic count was way lower than expected. They ended up spending a ton of money for very little visibility. It's crucial to do your research.
Exactly. And then there's the design aspect. I've seen billboards that are just too cluttered or have tiny text.
Oh, that's a big one. You have just seconds to grab someone's attention as they drive by. If your message isn't clear or is hard to read, it's like throwing money away.
I remember another case where a business owner was so proud of their creative design, but when it went up, all the colors blended together. People couldn't even tell what the billboard was advertising.
Yes, and then there's the issue of timing. You can have the perfect billboard in the perfect location, but if you launch it at the wrong time...
Like, say, during a holiday season when everyone's distracted?
Exactly. Or even if there's a major event happening nearby, your billboard could get lost in the noise.
That's a tough lesson to learn. And what about contracts? I've heard of people getting locked into long-term agreements without fully understanding the terms.
That's a real trap. Some contracts can have hidden fees or renewal clauses that can catch you off guard. Always read the fine print, and if you're unsure, get someone knowledgeable to look it over.
It's so important to know what you're signing up for. And then there's the maintenance aspect. I mean, a billboard needs upkeep, right?
Definitely. If your billboard gets damaged or if the lighting goes out, you have to address that quickly. A neglected billboard sends the wrong message about your brand.
I know someone who thought they could just set it and forget it. and the billboard ended up looking shabby. They lost potential customers because it didn't reflect the quality of their business.
That's a great point, Jordan. Consistency is key. It's not just about the initial investment. It's about ongoing management, too.
And what about neglecting to measure the results?
Oh, that's huge. If you're not tracking how effective your billboard is, how do you know if it's worth the investment?
Right. I think it's important to set specific goals, like increased foot traffic or website visits, and then analyze the data to see if you're hitting those targets.
Exactly. If you're not seeing the results you expected, it might be time to rethink your strategy or even pivot away from that location or design.
And then there's the emotional side of it. People can get attached to a particular idea or vision for their billboard.
True. And that emotional attachment can cloud judgment. If something isn't working, it can be hard to let go of it.
Yeah. I think it's important to stay flexible and be willing to adapt based on what the data tells you.
For sure. And speaking of flexibility, another pitfall is not having a plan for how you'll adjust your strategy over time.
It's so easy to get stuck in your ways, but the market can change, and you need to be ready to pivot.
A good practice is to periodically review your billboard performance and make adjustments as needed.
And, I've seen some businesses neglect the importance of community engagement.
Yes, billboards can be a great way to connect with local audiences. But if they're not integrated with your broader marketing strategy,
they'll just be another sign on the street. Building relationships with the community can amplify your message and drive results.
That's a great point. Engaging with locals on social media or through events can help strengthen your brand, making your billboard even more effective.
And then there are those who get discouraged after a short time if they don't see immediate results.
Patience is key in advertising. It often takes time for people to notice and respond to a billboard. It's not an instant win.
It's like planting a seed, right? You have to nurture it and give it time to grow.
Exactly. If you're not seeing results right away, don't just throw in the towel. Analyze what's working and what's not, and be prepared to make adjustments.
And I think it's also important to set realistic expectations.
Definitely. You might not double your sales overnight. Setting achievable goals will help you stay motivated and focused.
So, what can someone do if they've already made some of these mistakes?
Well, the first step is to assess the situation. Take a hard look at what's not working and why.
Identify the specific issues, right?
Yes, and then prioritize which ones to tackle first. It could be adjusting the design, changing locations, or even renegotiating a contract.
And don't forget to reach out for help if you need it.
Absolutely. Whether it's a mentor, a financial advisor, or a marketing expert, getting a fresh perspective can be invaluable.
So those are some immediate steps you can take. Now let's bring everything together with some actionable next steps. So now that we've talked about the ins and outs of billboard advertising, let's dive into some actionable steps that our listeners can take to get started, right?
Absolutely, Jordan. It's all about breaking it down into manageable steps. First off, I'd recommend doing some research. Start by checking out local billboard companies. Look into their inventory and pricing.
Yeah, that makes sense. You want to see what's available in your area. And don't forget to consider the locations. Some spots are definitely more valuable than others, right?
Exactly. High traffic areas near highways or popular shopping centers usually yield better returns. Also, check out online platforms that list billboard space. Websites like Billboard Connection or even local classified ads can give you a sense of what's out there.
Those are great resources. And speaking of resources, I think it's important to set a budget before diving in. You need to figure out how much you're willing to invest.
Right, and remember to factor in not just the rental cost, but also potential maintenance and insurance. It's all part of the equation.
For sure. And if someone's really new to this, they might want to start small, maybe even consider partnering with someone who has experience in outdoor advertising.
That's a smart move. A partnership can provide valuable insights and lessen the financial risk. You could also look into digital billboards, which often require a smaller upfront investment.
Oh, I love that idea. Digital billboards can be more flexible too, right? You can change the ads more frequently without additional costs.
Exactly, and with the right software, managing those ads can be really straightforward. There are apps out there, like Adomni, which makes it easy to find and book digital billboard space.
And for those who might feel overwhelmed by all of this, I suggest starting with a simple checklist.
Definitely. A checklist can help keep things organized. You might start with research local billboard companies, set a budget, identify potential locations, and explore partnership opportunities.
And after that, maybe dive into learning about the legal aspects of billboard advertising. It's important to understand local regulations, right?
Yes, every area has its own set of rules. It might be worth consulting with a legal expert or someone who specializes in outdoor advertising laws.
Great point. This way, you won't run into any unexpected issues down the line.
Another useful tool could be setting up a dedicated spreadsheet to track your potential costs, locations, and even the performance of any ads you might run.
That sounds super helpful. You can analyze which spots perform best over time.
Right, and based on that data, you can make informed decisions about where to invest next.
And don't forget about networking. Connecting with other billboard owners or advertisers can provide insights and tips that you won't find in books or online.
Absolutely. Local advertising meetups or online forums can be a goldmine of information.
And speaking of books, there are some great reads out there about marketing and advertising strategies.
Yes, Contagious: How to Build Word of Mouth in the Digital Age by Jonah Berger is one I recommend. It dives into what makes content popular, which can be really helpful for crafting your billboard ads.
That's a solid choice. And what about habit building?
I think it's crucial to stay consistent. Set aside time each week to review your billboard advertising strategy.
And maybe even adjust your approach based on what you learn, right?
Exactly. Adaptability is key in any investment, and keep educating yourself, whether it's through podcasts, articles, or workshops.
That's a good point. Continuous learning can keep you ahead of the game.
And don't forget to celebrate small wins along the way. Each step forward is progress, whether it's securing your first billboard or making your first sale.
I love that. Celebrating those small victories keeps the motivation alive.
And it can help you build momentum.
So to wrap up these steps, it sounds like the main things to focus on are research, budgeting, starting small, networking, and continuous learning.
Yes, and remember, it's all about taking that first step and then the next.
And with that in mind, let's move on to the outro, where we can tie everything together and share some final thoughts. Well, this has been quite a journey, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It's fascinating how something like billboard advertising can provide an avenue for passive income, especially for those looking to build financial security.
Right? So let's recap some of the key takeaways. One major point is that billboard advertising can be a stable source of income, especially in high-traffic areas.
Exactly. And the initial investment might seem daunting, but once it's set up, it can generate revenue with minimal ongoing effort. It really highlights the power of investing in real estate, even if it's just a small piece of land.
And then there's the importance of understanding local regulations that can really make or break your success with billboard advertising.
Yes, knowing the zoning laws is crucial. You don't want to invest and then find out you can't legally place a billboard there.
Another key takeaway is diversification. Just like with any investment strategy, not putting all your eggs in one basket can really help mitigate risks.
Well said. And lastly, it's vital to keep an eye on the market trends. What works today might not work tomorrow, so staying informed is key.
Definitely. It's all about being proactive rather than reactive, right?
Exactly. And for those listening, remember that building long-term financial freedom takes time and patience, but every small step counts.
So true. If you found this episode helpful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with someone in their 40s who could benefit from this information.
And don't forget to comment your thoughts. We love hearing from you.
Next time, we'll dive into software as a service, or SaaS basics. It's a rapidly growing field that could offer some exciting opportunities.
Can't wait for that one.
Until then, take care and keep striving for your financial goals.
Yes, keep pushing forward.